right, hey y'all, it's your girl Brian Lost coming to y'all with another video, and today I have a very special guest. So it's totally up to her, but Felicia, do you want to introduce yourself?
Of course. My name is Felicia. Let's see. What about me that people need to know? Nothing much. No. I am a graduate student. I will be graduating May. Who's okay. I plan to be a lawyer, so if that ever happens, hit me up, y'all. Yeah, I live in California. I have a beautiful husky baby. If you hear some whining, that's her in the back. And yeah, let's talk because I'm ready to talk. I'm ready to talk.
Also, if y'all didn't know, Felicia also has her own YouTube channel as well, Phylicialynita. She has a podcast and all that. So I'm going to make sure to post all of her information in the description box below for y'all. So, yep. Thank you so much for introducing yourself. Definitely appreciate it.
Thank you.
No problem. So today's conversation is going to be about the whole Derrick Jaxn dilemma, but ours is going to be a little bit different than what you've been seeing with people bashing him and stuff. For us, is more to educate and just chime in and give our opinions about what we think about the situation as a whole. This ain't to break down timelines or nothing like that, like everybody been doing. Of course, if Felicia wants to add to that, she is more than welcome to. I'm gonna bring up some timelines, but like I said, not in the way to bash him and figure out what this man been doing, but just to give our opinion. For me as a married woman, just like what I would do and what I think, and then of course Felicia as a woman, period, and with her having a man as well. So without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get started. So what do you think? Oh, also before I get started, we are doing a Zoom meeting, so we might cut off, and then we need to keep going. Then we'll start it back again. Okay, cool. But my first question to you is, what do you think about the whole situation?
I think it's so ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous, and it's like, dude, I don't judge people. I try not to judge people, but really, like, go to hell. Like, you out here giving all this advice, meanwhile you tiptoeing through the grass, like you a whole snake. And it's I'm shocked, but not really, because I'm not really, people do their dirty work behind closed doors, but it's just real shocking. He built his whole brand on something that he does and actively doing.
And I think that's what people have the issue with him the most is, don't get me wrong, he definitely wrong for cheating on his wife. But it's how he came about it when he first started his platform and trying to bash man. Let's be honest. Trying to bash man. And but like exactly, and like you said, the whole time, he's doing whatever he wants to do. And my supervisor, we was talking about this. He's so funny. He was like, man, been waiting on him to fall.
They have.
Man have literally been waiting on him to fall. I know they have, because, and me personally, don't get me wrong, it's some things that he's actually said that I can't agree with. I'm the type of person I'm with you when you right. But I always have an issue when I see somebody bashing people a lot. That's why I personally really never follow him, because I felt like he was kind of being one-sided in his thinking. Where for him, I felt like it was always blame the man, blame the man, blame the man, and not necessarily not trying to educate people. Like, okay, if you're a man, try to do these things different, or this, that, and the third, if that makes sense. But not in the way that you're always bashing man and bringing them down, and always saying it's the man fault, man need to do this. Because again, like my supervisor said, a lot of the things that he's saying man should do, they're very unrealistic. I don't know if you feel that way, but I kind of feel that way a little bit about some of the stuff that he say. What you think?
Well, I don't know. But see, I really don't remember. I have not seen some of his videos in so long, and my memory is already shot. Okay, so I have a really bad memory. Some of the stuff I'm like, yes, I get it. I would love for a man to do that for me. I agree with you when you said, like, it's very one-sided, because that's what happens when people take advice from internet people. Now, I say that because it's so many internet therapists out here that are not certified out here giving advice, and people are taking it and running with it. And like, you can take it with a grain of salt, but always if you need a professional, you need to go to a professional. That's
Professional,
pure.
absolutely.
But some of that stuff, I mean, I agree with it. Some of it's like, gosh, like, you know, the stuff I agree with was you deserve a good person. Of course, I
Absolutely.
do, yes. But it's like the one-sided stuff you talking about. Like, what if that woman don't deserve him? Now, I seen maybe like he did like 1 or 2 videos talking about the woman.
Okay. Yes, exactly. Exactly. And see, that's what I'm talking about. Because for me, the issue that I have a lot of times with internet people giving advice is they'll be like, oh, you know, your husband or your girl should be doing this, but that might not be how y'all communicate with each other.
Yes.
Like Josh,
every relationship is not the same. Like
exactly. Like Josh don't open the door for me when I get out the car, when I get in the car. But one of the things he will do, and I ain't gonna say, but like that's a bad thing. He ain't gotta do that. What he will do is if he'll drop me off at the front and go park the car. Yeah. Or he'll pick me up. He'll be like, even if the car is closed, he'll walk to the car, be like, I'm about to bring the car around. He'll go to the car and then he'll pick me up. So that's one of his ways of how he communicates his love language to me. You know, everybody's just different. Exactly. Every woman don't want, not saying that this is what his page represented, but every woman don't want flowers. Every woman don't want this. Every woman don't want that. Every woman is different. Yeah. But the way that he presented it, though, he came on very self-righteous. I'll be the first to say that.
It was a little bit brainwashing.
It was, because if you notice, most of his fan base is who?
Women, yeah.
And maybe the occasional dude. So he knew, and I know you're going to correct me if I'm wrong, and I probably sound bad for saying this, but I feel like, you know, there are quite a few women out there that do like the bash man. Do sometimes they deserve it? Absolutely. But
I be coming for their necks, but only, that's the thing. I don't want people to confuse bashing someone with holding someone accountable.
Exactly.
I don't want people, because if people follow me on social media, you're going to see one thing. I'm always talking about people who victim blame.
Exactly.
I'm tired. That's one thing. But people have come to me like, why do you hate men? It's like, I do not hate men. I hate predators. Exactly. Now, you just told on yourself, because I was a victim of sexual assault, you know. So I take it personal, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's what I don't want people to confuse those two. It's not bashing. Because I goes in on people who talk shit, like talk mess and don't make sense. Like, why would you blame the victim? But that's another story.
Yes, but, exactly. No, and you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Absolutely and right.
I just went on the tangent. I forgot what you asked me.
No, basically, no, but it's good that you put that out there, because we actually gonna bring that up. But at the end of the day, I guess my whole thing is, like you said, it's different. And thank you for saying that, because it definitely is a difference between holding somebody accountable and bashing them. And there are women who, I don't want to say like to see men in a bad light, but if you have, let's be honest, for me, he's a very attractive man. To me, he is. Yeah, I think he's very good looking. And he's a Black man.
Girl, hold on a minute. Tell me why I heard he was like 5'7".
Really? I thought he was taller than that.
No, I heard he was short. I said, no, I said,
yeah.
I'm so dead. When you just said that, I thought he was attractive. I said, wait a minute.
I thought he was taller than that.
No.
Oh, that's surprising to me. I think Josh taller than him. He only 2 inches taller than me.
I can't say nothing. Me and my boyfriend, they're in the same height, so hey.
Yeah, I mean, which is cool if she's short. That ain't what we talking about. But it's just the fact that, you know, he's the attractive Black man, and he seemed like he's very wise and very intelligent. So it's easy for him, to me, to like, you know, kind of, I don't want to say seduce, but kind of like wheel women in. And for him to speak about what men need to do, especially if they've gone through the stuff that he's speaking about. Mm-hmm. So again, that's why I personally never really got into his page, because for me, there were times when he held men accountable, but then for me, there were some times when it was one-sided, and I just felt like that he was bashing. And for me, that's what it was. But I don't follow people like that anyway. But I didn't know he was doing all that. So that's gonna bring me to my next thing. So what are your thoughts about the wife? Like, how do you feel about her staying? There are a lot of people bringing up how she looked in the video.
Very sad.
How
I feel about the wife.
And what do you think about the victim blaming, like you said earlier, with people victim blaming her? But the first thing I'm gonna ask you is, because I know I asked like 3 questions there, but what do you just think about the wife overall before I get into the specifics?
I think she needs help. Like, not in a funny way. I know a lot of people think that's funny. Like, I think something is mentally wrong with her. Because if you don't follow I Am Eloho, she went through her Instagram. She read her Instagram post. It was very disturbing to read. It
And she was posting like depressive stuff, right?
Yes, and she was jealous of these dark-skinned women. She wanted to be like them because that's who her boyfriends would chase, and she wanted to learn how to penetrate them, just like it was literally disturbing.
Penetrate who?
The women.
What you mean penetrate? I'm like, what?
It was very disturbing, and I was like, this is not. I'm not a professional, but in my head, it is not okay.
Yeah, I didn't know she was
like. So there's nothing with finding. Obviously, there's nothing with finding a relief or some type of strength in God. There's not.
No.
But there is something that we have to be honest with. Stop, Nyla. There's something we have to just be honest with, and you can love God 24/7, 25/8. You hear me? But I think Derrick Jaxn, he's using her love for God against her.
Girl.
For real.
That's true. And you took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah, because don't blame. Where was God when you was through this grass, sneaking, shooking, and jiving in these women's houses?
No, that's true.
And then, now all of a sudden is God saved me. That you're caught.
Yeah, that's
you
what it
just seen a couple of weeks ago. Girl, the screenshot got released. It was March 10th, March whatever. You was just seen less than a month. People have their own opinions about cheating and whether you stay once or twice. Felicia ain't doing it. Like with cheating, not doing it. But but that many times through your pregnancy, before you got married, through your marriage, God. You mentioned that when you text me about your vows, you taking vows before God. God is not gonna put that in your life.
No.
Get out.
Absolutely.
Because there's something better out there for you. This man, I feel like he's a narcissist, manipulating the hope out of her.
He is. He's a narcissist for sure. Yeah.
Here, y'all. This is what's making
all this. She's so pretty. Look at her. She's so cute. She is beautiful.
Man, she crazy.
Look at her mama.
She just stole my sock. She just stole my sock.
Girl, so weak.
Anyway, I'm gonna let her play with that because
keep her distracted. She'll be all right. But yeah, no, you absolutely right in everything you said, and I was actually going to get to that. As far as the wife is concerned, personally, I definitely think that she does need help. I definitely don't think that the timeline fits as far as her saying that she's okay, because my whole thing with that is, if you were gone almost a year ago, it's only April, and we know he been cheating the whole time. I don't know if you listen to the third mistresses, if you listen to her interview, he's been cheating the whole time that he supposedly came back.
I didn't know she was interviewed. I only seen screenshots.
Yeah, she was interviewed. What did lady name Tasha? Is she got? I put the link in the description box. But she was interviewed, and so yeah, he had been cheating this whole time that he had turned his life over to God. And here's my thing with that, like you said, I don't judge anybody's walk with God because I know mine ain't perfect, and people could turn their life around at any time. But it's just like you said, her love language, like the radio host that I was listening to, her love language is God. And if he's a narcissist, it's easy for him to use that against her, especially when she said he's never done this before, like turning his life around and cutting all the women off, but he's been cheating the whole entire time. So my only opinion personally about the wife, that if I was in her shoes, I would have left. Right. But at the same time, my only opinion about it is, you're not bashing her or anything for her leaving, and you just giving your opinion. But there are a lot of people that telling her that she should leave. in my opinion, and this coming from a married woman's perspective, when you are married, for me, I never tell a married woman or man to leave. The only time I would give advice is if it's abuse, and I'm like, yeah, you need to get out and separate so you can be safe. But I'd never tell them to get a divorce because for me, that's not my place. As a spouse, when something happens, you have every right as whether you want to leave or stay. That is your God-given right. So if you want to leave, you can leave. If you want to stay, you can stay. I'm not going to bash her for staying, or I'm not even bash her, but I'm not going to say she's bad for staying. Would I say no? Absolutely not. But I'm not going to say she wrong for staying because that's her husband. If she want to stick by his side, even if he is in the wrong, it might not be right to us. It may not look right to us, but that is absolutely her right. So yeah, but that's what I think about her in general. I don't think she's okay. I and we're gonna get to this, and I know I'm jumping ahead, but I personally think that he has put his hands on her. I think that she definitely does need professional help. Yeah. And I think the thing with her, and I want to call this an issue, is that she does come from a Christian home. And a lot of times what you see in Christian homes is that, you know, like you said, you love God and everything, but you don't live in a reality. Whereas, like, say, for example, you're a Christian, but your parents might be telling you, oh, God doesn't want you to get a divorce. He doesn't want you to leave. He wants you to stay with that person, which they're not lying, but God does not allow, you know, abuse over and over again, and somebody cheating on you over and over again. He would not want you to stay in that situation. Now, if you can work it out and that person can make the decision to get better and do better, cool. But if that person is going to continue to do whatever they want to do, God does, and this is biblical, God does actually allow you to, not allow, because everybody make their own decisions, but he is okay with people getting a divorce over infidelity. He wants you to work it out. He does. But but why would he want you to continue to stay in a relationship like that? Because he just didn't cheat on her one time. He's cheated on her multiple times, like you said, before they were married, during pregnancy, because they only been married for like 4 years, I think. Y'all haven't been married for that long. He been cheating on her, look like their whole marriage. So God doesn't want you to stay in that. But when you come from Christian homes, a lot of the times you see that. So that could be why she's staying. And then she got him in her ear manipulating her. So she needs to get away. She needs to take her kids, and you know, and I think she should get away. But again, I don't want to talk to her because, like I said, I ain't gonna tell what she should do. But if she got everybody in her ear and no clear direction, she does have to do what's best for her. But you know, unfortunately, she not gonna get help until she see what's wrong. And that's
anything wrong.
Exactly. And that is the issue. So I'm gonna ask 2 more questions and then we're gonna go ahead and wrap this part up. So what do you think about the victim blaming as far as the wife goes? Well, how she dressing, for example? Like, what is your opinion about that?
So idiotic, so ignorant, for lack of better terms, morons. Okay, morons. I cannot stand people who make excuses to tear apart the victim in situations. Right. I cannot stand that. Like, when it comes to rape victims, well, were you drinking? What did you have on? Was it?
Yes. Where were you walking? Where were you going?
It is until you personally experience these things. I'm gonna be honest. I don't care. I don't care. It should not take that. It should not take you personally experience a traumatic event for you to understand somebody's pain.
No.
Like, you need to. People don't know how to empathize because they're so hard. They're so hard. They want to be tough and mean all the time, you know, and funny. It's like y'all are doing too much because people are noticing. I tell people, I notice everybody I'm close with in my family that I cut off that has said some. Can I cuss?
You been cussing.
Oh, like, had some fucked up shit. Do you hear me? Like, seriously. So, nothing that lady, nothing she has on, not the way she dresses, not the way she looks, matters.
It doesn't. Okay?
None of that matters. What I say, the only thing that keep a man is a man that wants to be there. Wants to be kept.
Yes.
I can wear makeup every day. I can wear a wig every day, get my hair done every 2 weeks, all this. Guess what? His dick his penis gonna start tickling.
But no, that's true though, because you could literally have sex with him at the drop of a dime. give him head on the handstand, and he's still gonna cheat on you. If that's what he want to do.
Sex, food,
yes,
money,
clean the house.
somebody.
Come home to a clean house.
If they don't want you.
And let's be clear, we're not saying that means you shouldn't keep yourself up. We're not saying if those are the things you choose to do to keep yourself up, because everybody do things differently as far as how they want to be kept.
Every blue moon, I do makeup, I put on wig with all that stuff.
That's what I'm saying. So, you know, because I ain't gonna lie, I'm kind of bougie when it comes to some things. I do go get my nails did, my eyelash did, and so then this, that, and the third. So I go, you know, every 2 weeks or whatever, every time I get paid and all that. So nobody's saying that you don't have to keep yourself kept. Anybody tell you gotta cook for your man and do stuff for your man. But just know, just because you're doing those things does not mean that he or she is going to stay. Because the thing is also, the thing that bothers me the most about it is this. It's like you said, she should be able to wear what she wants as his wife without feeling like that she has to compete with other women.
Oh my God. What? It's a mess up that women are saying this.
Yes. It's just not the man. It is women that are saying this.
So you mean to tell me when your duck ass when you get married, you are going to be in competition for your husband?
Yes.
Why are you married?
Yes. Why? And I'm gonna do a TikTok video about that too. What I look like compete for the man that got on one knee and asked me to marry him?
You're quiet as kept. Some of them probably asked that man to marry them.
But you know what? That's what's confusing me, because my whole thing is it does not matter what she wears or doesn't wear. Like we said, if he wants to cheat, he's gonna do that regardless. Because if one woman could have pleased him, then he would have just messed around with one woman. But he messed around with multiple. Yeah, but that's the thing, because the doctor was saying that he likes a certain type of woman, like he likes Instagram model looking women. But even if those women could please him entirely, then he wouldn't be messing with different kinds of women. Because first of all, for me, his wife is beautiful. I don't think that she's like any less better looking than them. And I ain't saying that because she's the wife. I think she's really, really pretty. Right. And I mean, how do any of us look when we got our bonnet on and we ain't got on no makeup and this, that, and the third?
People.
Because how you think they look? You think they look like that dumb girls that he cheated with that y'all compared to? You think they look like that all the time? 24/7. And they got filters and everything in their pictures. You said what?
They got to take that stuff off eventually.
That's what I'm saying. And filters and all that. You know, not saying that they photoshopping or nothing, but we all use filters. I know I use them.
Man, I filtered up.
That's what I'm saying. So, you know, what do you see what I'm saying? Like, she in the comfort of her own home. Now, if that was me, first of all, I wouldn't be doing no video with him, because if you gonna tell the world that you're cheating, you're gonna do that on your own. And that's the thing that upsets me, is that he used her to back him up. That's what upsets me about that video more than anything, is that, okay, you want to confess to the world, cool, but don't bring your wife in it. And then if I would, and I mean, people talking about something, if that was me, I'd be looking like this. I wouldn't be looking like nothing, because I wouldn't even be there.
I wouldn't even be there.
I wouldn't even entertain that foolishness. You gonna tell the world what you did on your own time. And somebody said that he uploaded the video by himself and then he deleted it. Somebody said that.
No, girl.
Somebody said that.
He added it to the video.
Oh.
I was like, you have got to be kidding me. This cannot be real life. And his video was mainly focused on the wife. Very one-sided. Oh my God, but I believe her. She forgave her husband. Are you kidding me?
But then when he tried to blame her, was like, even though the video was her idea, I'm like, if you wanted to use a video explaining yourself, then just do that. Why are you trying to just speak in third person that way? And like a lot of people, that is very narcissistic behavior.
Girl,
because you are on the video literally explaining yourself, but you speaking in third person.
That is so. I literally was like, what am I watching? Now I said she needs professional help. That man, he has something going on with him.
Yeah, I mean, if he is a narcissist and all that, then yeah, he definitely needs help.
I was like, are you Oh no, but to see him joke with people in the comments talking about her looks.
What? Really? I didn't see that.
Hold on now. I got it.
Are you
Damn.
serious? I really didn't see that.
Uh-huh. I think it's on one of my in my TikTok. Oh Lord, I can save so many TikToks, girl. It's ridiculous. But yeah, so he was in the comments with laughing emojis talking about they said blink twice if you eyes sis, LOL. Why is it funny? Why is this? Here it
Who
is.
laughed? He did or they did?
When her husband responds that she's not wearing a bonnet, she's wearing a hat, he leaves a laughing emoji. A lot of people expressed concern for his wife in the comments.
Oh.
He tags his wife and comments, blink twice if you need help, sis, LOL. Once again, this is called minimizing. He's trying to pretend that everything's all hunky-dory on their side. They're just joking and laughing together.
And you know what?
She's doing. How prepared are you to stand on the spoken word of God and to proclaim victory over sin? And I spill the blood of the enemy. You see a bonnet. Again, he has convinced her that they are fighting together against the evil that has tried to infiltrate their marriage, and that is the actual problem. So now he's her teammate. He's on her side. This is classic narcissistic manipulation.
Yeah.
His brother Derrick.
Girl.
Yeah, like I was just like, what's funny? Like people are coming for your wife, and it's all jokes. First and foremost. Second, I don't get it. Not everything pieces and cream. Like,
well, see, and I like again, and I don't want to say all men, but in my experience, men have a tendency to do that, to where like y'all go through something bad, and you know what? Not just men, but people who don't like to hold themselves accountable, because there are family members that do it too.
Oh, girl.
That don't like to hold themselves accountable, and then they do things to you, and then all of a sudden they act like ain't nothing happened, instead of apologizing and acknowledging what they did. Mm-hmm. So people, that's for people who don't like to accept accountability.
Yep.
So that is just, I wish Josh would go. I wish Josh would. Oh shoot, but that is terrible. That's so bad.
I got a question. So a lot of people say, well, he cheated, she needs to leave. And then I've heard some people say, well, as long as your husband or your wife don't cheat, then you should stay. I do not agree with that. I don't. I feel like it takes more than cheating to break something up with me, because there's so much that goes into a relationship other than love, and there's so much to break up a relationship other than cheat.
Yeah.
It's not only physical abuse, mentally, like, you know, emotionally calling you names and, you know, making you, trying to manipulate you if you smart enough to figure out what manipulation is at that moment. You know what I'm saying? And poor money management, or putting you in danger, you know, like, waving guns around you, selling drugs around you. Like it's so much
that
goes
a lot
into that. So someone told me that the other day, and I was just like, I said, I don't care if nobody is not putting their hands on me. It is gonna take one of those moments where I'm just like, I don't want this.
That's true.
Peace.
And I mean, when it comes to, you said you wanted to ask me how I felt about that, or what you wanted to ask me?
Do you think, oh well, as long as they don't cheat?
Well, I feel like that's very naive thinking, to think that cheating is like the only thing, because it's not. There are plenty of things that people have got a divorce over, especially when you get into, you know, like you said, selling drugs, putting your life in danger, this, that, and the third, mental abuse, physical abuse. Personally, me, I would like leave. You know, I wouldn't even be worried about getting a divorce right then in that moment. My main thing would be is to get out of my environment and then get in a safe place, and then from there figure out what I would do. That would be the first thing that I would do, because that, for me, that is the most important thing. And I'll be honest, as a Christian, and me personally, somebody who does believe in the Bible, it doesn't talk about what should you do in that particular situation, if you should get a divorce or not. So that is a question that a lot of, you know, Christians have. It's like, if my husband or my wife physically abusing me, does God expect me to stay with them? And for me, it just all go back to love. You know, like if a person loves you, would they even be putting their hands on you in the first place?
Exactly.
So for me, you know, God is all about love. So God is not for abuse of any kind, for any reason. He never, ever, ever justifies abuse. I ain't read it. He'll never justify abuse because he doesn't like abuse us. So why would he send somebody to abuse you? So for me, it's all about getting out of that situation the best way you can. Because I know for some people it's hard for them to get out of the situation. But to get out of it the best way you can, the safest way you can, and then figure out the rest of it later. That personally with me, that would be what I would do, is to get to a safe environment and then figure out what I'm gonna do. I'm kind of well, first of all, I ain't gonna lie. Y'all probably know I'm crazy. The day, and not saying that my husband gonna do anything to me, but if I was with a man that would put his hands on me, and that's probably my issue, I'm gonna fight back. I definitely am not the woman, and I ain't trying to act tough or nothing. Anybody that know me know, even if Ashley lose, she gonna fight back. She gonna fight back, girl. She gonna fight back. I'm gonna definitely fight back, but I know a lot of women aren't like that. And that doesn't make it bad that they aren't like that, you know, because everybody responds differently. And honestly, I can say what I'm gonna do now because I'm not in that situation, but I might get scared and not fight back when I'm in that situation. I don't know, but right now I can say that if it was me, I would hope that I would fight back and protect myself and get out and get into a safer environment.
Yeah,
that's what I would do.
I tell people, be careful when you tell folks, couldn't have been me.
Yes, but let me tell you though, people saying something about her name Denia for staying, but how many of y'all got boyfriends that y'all still fuck with and got babies by? Y'all ain't even married to them, and y'all been together since high school. They've been cheating on y'all since high school. Y'all got babies by them, more than one baby on top of that.
Trying to make them stay.
Right. So how can you say something to, and I'm probably gonna sound bad for saying this, but how can you say something to a married woman? Yes, he cheated on her multiple times. But how you gonna say something to this married woman choosing to stay with her husband when you stay with a man that you ain't married to, that you'd have had children by? And this is not me judging, but you can't really tell her to leave if you ain't leaving.
Right.
Because how many of us have stayed? Because I'll be the first to say I have stayed when I see red flags. I have stayed. I've continued to fool with more than one dude when I seen stuff and made excuses for him. I've continued to see that. So that's gonna bring me to my next point. What is your opinion about the mistresses? Do you think they're innocent?
No.
Okay. Why do you think that?
Like why? Like, I don't know. Did he manipulate them too? I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
So you haven't really followed them?
No, I don't. I don't know who they are. I just know like
So
then, I don't know, like why. I don't know. You know, this man is openly married. He's obviously got some influence on social media. You know who he is. Like why would you engage in that?
Well, see, I think because I was one of them, most people didn't even know he was married. I didn't know he was married. I had no idea. But that's the difference between them and that. Okay, one pattern that I noticed between all three of them that have come out so far is that he told them that he was separated. So they knew that he was married, but he told them he was separated.
Yep.
So that's why I bring up the question, why do we as women ignore the signs? And when I say that, I don't want to victim blame us, because that's not what I'm doing, and I hope nobody takes it that way. But why do you think we ignore signs? And this is why I say this, and I'm gonna bring up the doctor, because when I listened to her interview, he showed quite a few signs. So with the doctor, she got pregnant by him at one point, but she eventually, had an abortion. So she talked about how one of the things she talked about was this. I'm gonna bring up two things that she talked about. Well, three. First thing she talked about was that he was a sex addict, because the radio host asked him, is he a sex? Do you think he's a sex addict? She was like, yes. He like when they had sex, they did it 5 times that day. She is a surgeon. she said he would be waiting on her after surgery to
Oh,
have sex with her.
Lord.
And she was going out there. My whole thing with the mistresses is this. You cannot expose him, and this is my opinion, without exposing yourselves. Because if she asks you if he's a sex addict and y'all did it 5 times a day, he didn't have sex by himself. Like, you had sex with him those 5 times, and you was going outside while he was waiting on you after surgery to have sex with him. So for me, I feel like you're enabling it, you know? What do you think?
You know, people like to run with the devil.
Yeah.
People like to run with the devil.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that one.
I'm not gonna sit here and act innocent. I've run with the devil plenty of times. You know what I'm saying? I like to chase the flame. You know, it gives people a thrill and exciting, but when it all boils down, that's why I tell people, be careful, because it's gonna come tumbling down, and when it do, it's gonna hit you hard.
Yeah.
What's going on? Like,
exactly.
Like, you're right. You exposing him, you also exposing yourself. Like, what were you thinking? You know, that's my question. Were you okay with that? Was it acceptable to you to be with
But then you can't call him a sex addict if you are involved in the act yourself. Because if this man want to have sex 5 times a day and you having sex with him, but you call him a sex addict, then kind of what does that would you think that would make you a sex addict? Or what do you think about that?
No, I don't think so. It depends. Now, what if they were, or she was doing that to keep him happy? She probably wasn't even enjoying it. Now, if she wanted to do it too, oh, okay. But if she was just like, well, Derrick here again, let me go do it because I don't know when last time I'm gonna see him. Okay. You know, I feel like it all depends, because it's been times where I've only had sex because my ex, or, you know, wanted to. I didn't want to. You know, and I was like, oh, I need to keep him happy. I mean, not now. I've learned a lesson. You know what I'm saying?
Of course. And that's why I like that we talking about this, because at the end of the day, it is hard to tell somebody no when you do want to keep them happy. That's why I said we've all been in, I feel like most of us at least have been in situations where we did things we didn't want to do, but we did it because we tried to get the person to stay. So that is a good point. That's definitely a good point. So I didn't think about that. So I appreciate that. I definitely do. So that's a good point.
I would ask them. Well, did you want to do it?
Yeah, and so that because I don't think she asked her that. So I mean, for me, that was my first thing, was her calling him a sex addict and then saying, "Oh yeah, he likes to do it 5 times a day. Come outside while he waiting on her." And so it could have been that she probably was scared of him, because she talked about him having like kind of, he feels like once he owns you, like you're his, and we're gonna talk about that. So we're gonna talk about that. We are. So and it's possible that she probably could have been scared. That's very, 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 very possible. So, you know, everybody got their own perspective with that. But I ain't gonna lie, I still don't think that she's innocent. I'm sorry. I don't.
To an extent, yeah, because you were there, you know, you were there.
Because it's just like the lady who do my eyelashes said, and she made a good point. I know some people might not agree with this, but it is true. A man is going to do to you what you allow. You know, some things, you know, because I mean, just like if you allow, because if you know your man cheating on you and you could still use to still go back to him, then yeah, he gonna do it. Yeah. There's no repercussion, there's no punishment or of any kind. So yeah.
Look,
and I mean, of course, him put his hands on you, nothing you ever do will allow that. Nothing you ever do, or a sexualist talk to you or anything, nothing you ever do will allow that. But more so the stuff like cheating and, you know, like disrespecting you and stuff like that, those are things that you allow.
Yeah.
And that's just coming from my opinion, but that's true. So yeah. But if you trying to, but my thing with that is, if she try, why would she have to feel like she keeping him happy? That ain't her man. That's my only thing with that.
It's just so much. I feel like so much plays into it. Like, so much. When I look at stories and stuff, I try to dive deep. Like, what I do too. Your head. You are a whole doctor, but you are into this. I don't know what credentials he had, but you are a surgeon. You almost 20 years, all these years.
And she's 32. She's pretty young. She seems like she's pretty successful in everything. And so that's what. Trying to keep him happy. Right. And so that's what brings me to my next point with her, is that like I said, all of them knew that he was married, but they knew that he was separated. With the second, I'm gonna say mistress because I ain't gonna lie, I forgot her name, so I will say mistress number two. Mistress number two, she said when she went to his penthouse, he like just pulled his dick out, like he just pulled it out, and she told him she was gonna have sex with him because he was married. Then he told her, she like, yeah, he texted me, he apologized to me. She was going through a lot, and I think she was very vulnerable because she had broke up with her ex, and her ex had been cheating on her too, from what she was saying in the interview. So she was very vulnerable. She seemed like she was very vulnerable. So when he texted her, apologized, she said he was very gentleman-like. I told him we could be friends because he was married. I didn't want to get involved like that. But then he told her that they can't be friends because eventually he's gonna want to have sex. And if she's not gonna have sex with him, then they can't be friends. And she agreed to do it. And so with the girl that he had been friends with for 10 years, she noticed, like he was telling her the same thing, they were separated, but they were still having sex. Because my whole thing is this: if all of them had suspicious behavior, he was doing crazy stuff. And I guess my question is this: what do you think about my opinion on this? If you know, if there's anything in your mind that's questioning anything, then why would you continue to stay asleep with him? Because just like with the doctor, he told her he was separated, and he tried to blame it on his wife. Oh, she don't want to get the divorce. But the doctor was like, well, you don't need her trying to give him advice. He was making excuses. He mentioned the reason why his wife left him was because he put his hands on her. She told his parents he put his hands on her. Mm-hmm. Then the mistress, then the doctor was like, but the doctor said that he never told her that he didn't put his hands on his wife. But but what he said was he just felt like whatever stays in our home, so between us, supposed to stay between us. So he never denied putting his hands on her. He never confirmed it, but that's not really the answer that you would give.
Because I know
you see what I'm saying?
If I didn't do nothing like that, I'm saying, hey, I ain't do that.
Right. But he didn't, but according to her, he didn't say that. And so she mentioned, and that's red flag number 2, big red flag. She mentioned that on Christmas, around the holidays, 2 incidents happened. One, he was in her house. First of all, some of the videos that he was recording, as apparently he was recording them in front of her house.
Yeah.
But she said he basically grabbed her in her house and basically was and told her that she belonged to him. Something like that, she said, in her house, because she was telling him that he had to leave. And he grabbed her in her own home, but she still was sleeping with him after that. When she went home for the holidays, he was calling her, blowing her phone up. She went answering the phone. When he called her 13 times, she said. When she finally got on the phone with him, he was telling her, you ain't never not answer the phone for me. You better bring your ass back here. And like being very controlling. But she was still sleeping with him after all that, because the last time they had sex was some weeks ago. So she was still sleeping with him after that. So all the women in their own way had questions and suspicious behavior that he was doing, even the girl that he knew for 10 years. So again, why do you think we as women do you think we ignore the signs? Do you think it's out of fear? Do you think it's a combination of things? Like, what do you think? What do you think it is? Because for me, like I said, if I am first of all, and before I even get to that, we got to stop believing people, and I'm gonna say us women, who prefer men. We got to stop believing in men when they tell us that they're separated. We got to stop doing that. Because first of all, people use separation and divorce interchangeably. Now, at one point in time, I wanted to be a lawyer, but they've been in school for too long. Y'all been in school for too long, child. And I need the patience. The most I can get up to is my master's. That's the most I can give y'all. Maybe PhD, we'll see. But master's, that's the most I can give y'all. So I know a little bit of thing here and there from doing research. Depending on the state, not a lot of states, but primarily in the South, I know Alabama, I believe Alabama, one of them, you have to go through a legal separation before you can either talk about divorce. And I heard him using divorce and separation interchangeably. And I'm like, which one is it? You separated or you going through a divorce? Because normally you have to go through your separation first. And why do you do that? Because most of the time people get back together. Yeah. Most of the time, not always, but some of the times, or most of the times, people get back together. Why is it that we take a man's word and say, okay, he's separated? Why do you think, like, it's 2021, it's paperwork, it's documentation if a person is legally separated.
Yeah.
So why is it that we solely would take their word for it and not at least do an investigation or know what's going on? Because I have a friend who's dating a guy that's married. I think he's divorced now. But when he was separated from his wife, she knew the situation that was going on. She knew that it actually was his wife. She was aware that it was his wife. Everybody's situation different. Sometimes people do be doing shady stuff so they don't get divorced and be out, so I get that part. But none of these women said that they were trying to find out what was really going on. And maybe some people might say they shouldn't have to. But for me, if you tell me you separated from your wife, I'm sorry, I am going to find out what's going on with that. Because separation is not a divorce.
Yes.
And therefore, y'all can get back together. So I am personally, and if I don't know the extent of the separation, I ain't got to know y'all business or why y'all getting separated. But I need to know what's going on and how far you are in this process. That's what I'm saying. So why, I guess, like I said, going back to the question, I know I'm kind of being around it, but why do you think we as women tend to ignore signs? Like we know, we see things, we know things, but why do you think we don't ask questions or pull through? Because I've done it. I ain't judge nobody because I've done it quite a few times with more than one man. More than one. So why do you think that happens?
Oh, a multitude of things. But one thing I'm gonna say is loneliness. Loneliness. Like, if you go digging, you're gonna find something that you don't like. So why go dig to ruin your little happy moment? And you will feel more compelled to leave. Like, you don't want to leave, so you're gonna take his word for it. You're gonna take his word for it. You know what? I can say this because it happened to me. Oh, thank God I was younger, but I've learned my lesson. Okay. How was I? 23, 22? I don't know. I was very young and I believed it. I believed the whole, we're going through the process of divorce and blah, blah, blah. And remember, hold on, I think I told you this.
You probably did.
When I said the wife messaged me.
And yeah, you did.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, I don't know. The reason why, I'm going to say that's the reason why I didn't dig. Because I was lonely. I wanted somebody. And I'm going to take his word for it. Yeah,
So he told y'all they were divorced or married?
They were married. They were going through the process of a divorce.
Okay. So you've been there. They
were living in separate houses. They were doing this, doing that. Child, please. The reason why he was able to talk on the phone is because he was deployed. That's why. Yeah, and when that deployment ended, that's when it happened. So I was like, oh my God. Jesus. but the other thing is, when I talk about loneliness, I definitely can say I definitely had low self-esteem. I wanted somebody near me. I wanted this, I wanted that. Didn't care about digging,
And that makes sense. And not to interrupt you, because if he is a narcissist, because the second mistress actually reached out to him because she was going through things with her ex-boyfriend. So if somebody catches that and sees that, they can easily use that against you. Because here's the thing, and this is why I don't, and I'm gonna let you definitely finish, but this is why I don't like the whole idea of blaming his wife. The doctor literally said that when it was times when she wasn't kept up, he would be throwing shade at her. You need to get yourself together. Like one day she said she was going to get her eyelashes done. He was like, you need to go get your eyelashes done. You need to be looking upkept at all times. Basically throwing shade like that. But he ain't paying for nothing.
Yeah.
How you gonna tell a lady who a doctor and what she need to be doing? You see what I'm saying? So that's that whole thing about how his wife look. No, because that's why I said we don't look like that all the time. We don't look, dressed a certain way and have our hair and makeup down all the time. That stuff gotta come off at some point. So that's what I'm saying. Like, these women probably were vulnerable. And it has nothing to do with the wife. But go ahead and finish what you were saying. Sorry about that.
You want to know something else? That's a powerful drug. People fail to realize the power of lust, the power of sex.
Ooh, yes. Oh, yeah, that's true.
A lot of people say, "Oh, it's just sex." I'm like,
nah, boo. Sex is spiritual.
Sex is very spiritual, especially when you don't use a condom, especially when you have skin-to-skin contact.
Yep.
And you get somebody that can do anything to you, you're gonna want to stay. Oh, you're gonna want to better. Don't get better. You ain't. I remember one time I was in therapy. My therapist asked me, "What do you like about him?" I said, "Huh?" Like I was so confused. She was like, "What do you have in common?" I was like,
You
"I don't
want to
know."
know?
And she was like, "Do you see where I'm going here?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." Since then, I had stopped talking to that boy. I said,
Yeah.
"He was only the same, like strictly. That's it.
No,
I don't
that's
like you. You not my type. To be honest, you ain't that cute."
it's always the ones that I
Girl, and I was
I've been
like,
out a couple times,
right.
but the sex was good.
The sex was good,
The
and that
sex was great.
people,
But it's like,
especially when you have low self-esteem.
yes, and I'm gonna do a
that.
video about that, and I might ask you to join me in on that one too, because I'm a person that definitely grew up with low self-esteem issues, and I struggle with them today. And so I know what you mean by that. And the thing about it is, when you have sex with somebody, you give them, as bad as this sounds, but based off me, because I definitely don't have like a pure past of any kind. But when you have sex with somebody, you give them the power to do whatever they want to do to you. That's why I do agree with the lady, my friend that do my eyelashes, Miss Trina. That's why I agree with her when she said a man will do what you allow. Because when you give a man your body, he, not saying he has the right, but you give him the right to do whatever he wants to do to you, because he got your most intimate right. He got the most intimate thing that you could ever give him. So you do give him the power to treat you any kind of way. And then when he plays you or it don't work out, it's just like,
why would you do
then
me
you
like
back
that?
right. Then it's back to square one. But and I've been there. Trust me, I know exactly what you're saying about that, because I've been there. And it took me, once I got married, to realize how spiritual sex was. It took me, and I read a book. And if I can find a book online, I will post it on here. It's called Thirst, I think, and it talks about spirituality and sex and stuff like that. It is a great book, and I definitely recommend that book 100%. It will probably change your mind about sex for sure. Like, because a lot of people think sex is physical, or they do it like, and that's what I'm gonna bring up next. So with him being a sex addict, here's the thing. A person that's addicted to anything, nothing or nobody is going to allow them to get help, to stop them, unless they go get help them.
Exactly.
So that is, again, going back to why it doesn't matter what his wife does or doesn't do. If he wants to cheat on her, he will, especially if he has a problem.
Addiction. Yes.
Exactly. Addictions are nothing to play around with. That's why the doctor, that's why with her, and like you said, she could have been still having sex for various reasons with him, right? But you enabled the behavior. The behaviors are enabled, because at no point did no women stop him and say no. You see what I'm saying? At least that's from what I can tell based off the interviews. Right. At least what I could tell based off the interviews, because from the interviews, from what the women were saying, it seemed like everything was consensual. None of them said that he tried to rape him or nothing, or sorry for the trigger, but none of them said that. Especially the second girl, she was like, no addictions. Yeah, it's nothing that they couldn't do, but like I said, everything seemed consensual. So if these women are still attracted to him, not telling him no, then yes, the behavior is most definitely going to continue, and he doesn't see what's wrong with it. He doesn't see what's wrong with it at all. So like I said, I know I'm being repetitive when I say this, that's why it's different women. Like, even though they all may have a certain body type, they all look the same, look different, because he's looking for pleasure where he cannot and will not find it. And the thing with him is, I personally think the reason why he came out, again, I don't judge anybody's walk with God, as bad as this, and I know I'm about to sound hypocritical when I say this, but I don't think it was sincere. I don't. Reason why I don't think it was sincere is because even before I knew he was cheating, the timeline to me never made sense. The timeline of her leaving and then her saying everything okay, none of that makes sense. What people need to understand, when you go through something like that, like cheating within a marriage or infidelity or abuse and stuff, that stuff is trauma, and it could take you a while to get over that. You do not get over that once you turn your life over to God. That is a daily walk, literally something you have to do every single day, with continued counseling, probably for months, for some people even years.
years.
So that is not
30,
something like just
years.
because somebody turned their life over to God, they do not change that quick. I thought that when I got baptized 2 years ago, it is not as easy as getting baptized and turning your life over to God. It is a daily walk that you have to go through. You face different demons literally every single day.
Oh,
That's
yes.
why I do not believe that he changed, because that is too quick. And his wife taking him in and doing all that, that is too quick. Especially now we know he been cheating the whole time. So no, it was no change. And I personally think the reason why he came, I know people say he was doing the book, he dropped the book, but I also think he came out because he got blackmailed. I really do think that.
I got exposed because let me tell you something. If you're an influencer or a person that has high importance on social media, you have to know the game of the internet. Period.
Oh, absolutely.
And he knows the game of the internet. He should, crazy self. He should know the game of the internet. So you have almost 1 million subscribers on YouTube. Now, if you're giving advice on relationships, the first thing you do is admit you're wrong.
Yes, and
first thing,
I think that is the issue that people had the most. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier. Like I said, and I think I did. I know it's bad he cheated on his wife, but it's the point he came on not being honest with people about his dirt, but was quick to correct other men about what they did. Had he came on honest, it wouldn't have been an issue. But I'm sorry, y'all. Go ahead, boo.
The pot calling the kettle black. That's what's going on. Because that's one thing, because I know maybe one day I will gain way more subscribers. And what people do on the internet, they bring up old stuff.
Yeah.
So it was a point in time in my life where I was very homophobic, where I was very trash talking everybody. I was very immature. I was freaking a teenager, okay? I didn't know no better. So, but people on the internet don't understand that.
No, they don't.
So one thing you have to do, you have to know the internet. You have to know, like, you know what, it's best I admit my wrongs now. People still gonna bring up your dirt, but you have to be honest and be public with your wrongs. Be like, look, I was wrong, period. And I've learned new information, and I'm I am able to change my opinion. I'm allowed to change.
Oh yeah, absolutely, because we all need to be educated.
Right. And some people don't believe that, but I feel like if you were really sincere, first of all, you wouldn't be doing it 2 weeks ago. And second, this would have came up a long time ago.
A long time ago, because he's been on social media for a while.
Right. I've done wrong, but I'm going to use what I've learned to help others, period.
Okay. If he would have came correct like that, it wouldn't even been an issue. Not unless he was still cheating on his wife on down the road. Then it would be just as bad. I think so. But if he came on saying, yeah, I'm having issues in my marriage, this is what I've done, this is what I've experienced, this is what you can do to help your marriage, I think that's completely different. And he actually is changing. But that's why I said, that's why you really have to be careful. And like you said, know the difference between accountability and bashing. Because if you don't, you would definitely confuse the two. Because for me, like I said, going back to the bashing, and when you get to a point, like I said, it's just one sided and you bashing people, I have very hard questions about that. Because then that's going to be your platform. And I don't have time for bashing. For me personally, I need to see views from all sides. I need to see the woman's perspective, the man's perspective. Sometimes I ain't no perspective from another side. I'm sorry, because if something wrong for me, it's just plain wrong. We ain't even finna get into that. Because some of the stuff we agree that he said was correct. Like, okay, yeah, he's telling the truth. But at the same time, again, you just have to be aware of that. He knew the internet. He knew what to say and who to say it about, because he knew what type of crowd that was going to bring in. He knew.
He catered to women's feelings. That's what
he did. That's the true definition of a narcissist.
Yeah,
the true definition.
Paint yourself to be like some guy, some glorified, relationship coach whole time.
Then coming back now and saying that's why you shouldn't put people on a pedestal. But you was okay with people putting you on a pedestal when that money was coming in. Somebody said he got 1 million net worth or something like that. And some people be like, that ain't a lot. But I'm like, shoot, who? Because I ain't got 1 million net worth.
One video on YouTube, you can get so much money. I mean, when you have so many subscribers, that's just one. Now imagine that video been on the internet for years and people are still watching it.
Exactly.
So it's bringing in so much money, like so much money. He know what to do. I mean, he know
Yeah,
what to do.
he
That money.
knew. And
Now you promoting your book. That is ridiculous.
well, see, somebody else said too that he has like a deal with TD Jakes as well on the line. And so when I heard that, I was like,
I'm hurt.
that's why he came out. Because apparently it's like 100K or something. I guess it's already been paid for. And he's supposed to be dropping books, doing seminars. That is why he came out. I think it was the book. I think he got blackmailed, but I think that was the icing on the cake because I ain't gonna lie, I'm not a big fan of TD Jakes, but that's another video for another day. I'm not. But you got a pastor, like you can't be no married man cheating on his wife, cheating on your wife, putting out books and doing seminars because some of the people might be like his Christian congregation. So how does that image look?
A mess.
Oh, don't put people on the pedestal. But how somebody gonna put you on the pedestal when they didn't even know you was married in the first place? That too.
Now that's a question within itself. Are you hiding her? Are you hiding?
Right.
I know he had kids, honey.
Me neither.
They got 2 kids.
Me neither.
Supposedly she has 2 daughters because she was talking about hating her dark-skinned daughter's skin. Yes.
Really?
Yes. And that post, that disturbing one I said was very disturbing. Yes. It was so disturbing. I feel like I was watching a Lifetime movie in real life. In real time.
That lady need help. I'm gonna be praying for her.
She need help.
And she's brainwashed by the whole. And like I say this as a Christian myself, but she's definitely brainwashed with that whole. Like, people use God to brainwash people all the time, and a lot of it comes from and a lot of it comes from miseducation. And for me personally, allowing your parents to tell you or allowing people to tell you stuff without you actually reading the Bible or and going out and finding it out for yourself. I personally think that's where a lot of it comes from. Yeah. Because when you grow up in a household where people tell you this wrong and that wrong and this wrong and you're going to go to hell for this and you're going to go to hell for that. Because I used to think the same way. I used to think the exact same way. But I'm learning. I'm like, that's not how any of this works. Yeah. And like I said, as a married woman, I know God would not want me to stay in a relationship because I know God is love. And I know that abusiveness of any kind is not love. Not love. So therefore, I know God would not want me to stay in this situation. So I'm not going to have anybody brainwashing me and tell me that's what God would want. That's not true. Because I know that. I've read that. I've seen that. I've lived that. I know a lot of people don't believe in the Bible, but I know God loves me because he got me out of a lot of situations. You know, I would not, and I honestly, for me personally, would not be here today if it wasn't for God. And I honestly do believe that because him loving me, because there's plenty of times when I didn't even love myself. Exactly. Like when I talk about my past and stuff, for me, I didn't think, and I know it's women who cool with sleeping around that, they do that, do whatever they want to do. But for me, I'm realizing now I had issues that caused me to do those things. Yes. And so I realized I didn't love myself, but God still loved me and blessed me with a husband who absolutely loves me. And I can't complain with that. Yeah. I can't complain with that at all. So my question that I wanted to ask you, and then after this, after we wrap it up, do you, because I know you got your boyfriend, which I'm so happy about, was y'all. If y'all knew Felicia, I knew this girl since basic training. Oh yeah. You know, because I remember you had a boyfriend during basic training. But if y'all knew her, well, yeah, y'all be like, Felicia got a man, because baby, Felicia is very strong-minded. Very strong-minded. She is strong-minded. Like, that girl is strong-minded. It's gonna take a special kind of man to be able to I don't even want to say deal with her because she's an absolutely amazing woman. And I ain't just saying that because she's my friend. She really is very intelligent, very beautiful, and all that. So he a lucky man. You're welcome. He a lucky man, but it's gonna take a special kind of man to be on her level. Let's put it like that. Because she's very strong-minded. If y'all go on her YouTube and subscribe to her, y'all gonna see that. She isn't afraid to speak the truth on her podcast or nothing. So with you having, you know, a boyfriend now, when you see stuff like this, and I don't want to say single because I know you're not single, but coming from somebody who's not married, when you and maybe your boyfriend, when y'all see stuff like this, do y'all kind of be like, oh, I don't want to get married? Do y'all ever does that ever like, do these situations ever bother you? Do you look at other people's situation and be like, that's going on in their marriage, I don't want to ever get married, I'm cool with us being how we been? What's your intake on that?
No. Sometimes I'll be like, oh Lord, I don't want a marriage like that. I tell you that. But I'm not gonna cut off marriage as a whole, because that's what I personally would not put up with. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or let's say right now, that's what I say. Like I hate to say couldn't have been me. I don't like saying that.
Right.
But no, not really, because everybody's different, and I know I don't want a husband like that that's manipulative and ridiculous in the head. Like, I don't got time for that, because like you said, I am strong-minded. So the moment somebody tries to manipulate me, like, you cannot come over here and act like you're gonna twist this up, because you're not. Like, that's just pure point blank. And he know that. He ain't like that.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
it's I'm very careful though with stuff like that. I talked to him. I said, before you ever, if you ever think about proposing to me, please talk to me first. Know where my head at is first, because I don't want to embarrass you and be like, no, because I'm gonna say no. If I'm not ready, it's a no.
No, that's true.
If I'm not ready, it's no, because I can't like be like, oh my God, yes. And the whole time I'm like, am I ready to get married? Like, I don't even know what. So when the time is right, yeah. But am I one of those people who put marriage on a pedestal, or like want to be hurry up and get married? Like, no, I don't. I don't care if I'm 50 years old. I don't care, because I'd rather wait, when the time is right, instead of rushing. Because there's people who 21, 22 years old, down their third marriage. I don't got time for that. I don't got time, girl. When I tell you, working in the legal office on base.
You were legal?
That's all I was. I was when I got out, but I was still working on base.
Oh, okay. You worked in the legal office?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I was a GS employee in the legal office. Girl, that's all I saw every day. Divorce. That's all I saw. And I was like, well, I know what not to do, not to rush. That's what I know what not to do, because y'all going through some mess.
That's true.
I'm crying, and I said, nah, look, you can't do that in here. You gotta go to the bathroom.
You sound like somebody, mama.
Go to the bathroom. Get yourself together.
And she country like me. She from Memphis. I'm from Alabama. So
I'm like, yeah,
we all country.
I like to get married one day, in a nice, healthy marriage.
Yes, and you know what? And I remember, it's crazy, because I was one of the people that thought that I wasn't even gonna get married. I was like, commitment to one person for the rest of my life. Like, I knew what marriage meant, and so that's why I didn't get married until I was ready. But it took Josh to come. All I needed was just a good man. And I ain't trying to say the rest of the dudes weren't good, but we didn't work out, And at the time, in my eyes, they weren't good. But I grew and I learned, and I realized the mistakes that I was making. And in reality, I was no better than them. I really wasn't. I was no better than them. So that's why I'm not going to expose no dude without exposing myself, because I knew what I was doing. I knew what my intents were. I mean, and it was one dude that I actually did like, and I did feel like that he played me. But at the same time, the way that he did me, I've done dudes like that before.
Oh, yeah.
So I can't even be mad, because I'm like, girl, how many dudes you didn't? Girl, come on now. Girl, get it together.
Man, I was a Rolling Stone.
Exactly. That's why I said Big Pimpin'.
I was a Rolling Stone, and they knew about each other too.
Listen, that's what I'm saying. Exactly. So, but all it took was for Josh to come in and change my mind, because once everybody get to watch my YouTube channel, but for those who know me know that, I'm pretty headstrong too. I ain't got time for the mess, period. And I have my mental health issues and everything that I came into marriage with. And Josh is so incredible, because he's the complete opposite of me. And that he's very cool, he's very calm, he's very collected. What made me want to marry him was the fact that he see me at my worst and he still stayed with me. He seen me break down, he seen me cry, he seen all that, but he still stayed. And when he he wanted to be with me. And when I came to him with the issue that I was having with him, he was like, okay. And he changed it. Like, not changed himself, but he changed it. He stopped doing whatever he was doing and he started doing whatever he needed to do. Like, and it wasn't just one side. Like, if he came with me with something, of course it was like, yeah, you're right. I do need to get better at that. Like, him and I, we both put in the effort because we did want to be together. And I saw that he was doing, like, he just wasn't saying stuff. He was actually putting in an effort. I ain't never really had that before. So I'm like, and of course, you know, because we got married within like 6 months. And I ain't recommending nobody doing it, but we've been married for over 2 years now, you know. And I'm not saying hurry up and get married, but that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, you know, I feel like when you've seen the bad, you know what good is. And because since I've been through like just difficult situations with dudes, when I finally got a dude that was just different and everything, it was just like, you know, this is great. This is awesome. This is working. We did talk about marriage. We did marriage counseling and all that before we got married. I don't want to make it sound like just because he was different, that's why I married him. But I just actually seen the effort that he was putting in, and he meant it. Like, he just didn't say, yeah, I want to be with you, but he actually showed me, because he was at a point he wanted to be serious too. And he actually put in the work. And I guess that's all for me. I was just ever looking for was just a man that's gonna put in the work and not just talk. You know, if he wanted to spend time with me, he spent time with me. He didn't disrespect me. He just wasn't around just for the sex or nothing like that. He wanted to be with me. He actually showed it and he put in the effort. And I mean, I had that at one point, but that was a long time ago. And me and that dude didn't work out. But then now I have somebody where it did work out. Like I said, we about to be married for 3 years. Not a long time, but you know, I'm happy where we at because you know, this is the longest relationship I ever been in. Longest relationship I ever been in. So yeah. So you see what I'm saying? So yeah. But yeah, so thank you so much. There any final words that you like to say, any advice that you want to give or anything like that?
Put yourself first.
Yes.
Remember that. It is not selfish to love yourself first and create healthy boundaries.
Oh, yes.
Hey, don't let people manipulate you.
Yes. Oh,
periods. I can talk about this all day.
We could, for real.
Crazy, because people crazy now. You gotta watch.
Exactly. No, thank you so much, Felicia. I appreciate you for talking with me. You gave some perfect insight. I learned a lot, and I hope everybody learned a lot. Like I said, I didn't want this to be a bashing because I mean, it's enough of that going around. But for us to talk about the other issues that are around all of this. So I definitely appreciate you. I love you, girl. And I will talk to you later, boo. And I'm gonna wrap this video up.
Thank you for
no problem, beautiful. No problem. Okay, have a good night. Yes, ma'am.
Bye.
Bye. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for watching my video. Again, thank Felicia so much for joining me. And my last thoughts are this. So we really do need to stop blaming the victims. The wife in this case is most definitely the victim. It does not matter, and I know I'm being repetitive when I say this, it does not matter what the wife does or doesn't do. If Derrick Jaxn is going to cheat, and any man or woman, whoever is going to cheat, they are going to do that. So let's stop the victim blaming. Like Felicia said, learn how to create healthy boundaries. It's okay to tell people no. And also, let's stop just believing everything that people say. You know, if somebody tells you that they separated, you want to be with them, that's y'all business, y'all grown. I'm not promoting it or nothing like that. But at least get to the bottom of it and know what's going on. If you have questions, if some don't seem right, then you know, it's best to not continue that relationship. But again, I can't tell nobody what to do because we are grown, right? But in my case, and it's easy for me to say what I would or wouldn't do if I was in that situation, right? But at the same time, you know, we got to learn how to listen to our common sense more, especially us as women. When you see red flags and stuff, we got to learn. And not saying us, because we shouldn't have to learn anything. People should just stop doing bad things. But we do have to learn how to protect ourselves, and we do have to protect ourselves, and that is the harsh reality of it. We cannot ignore the signs, y'all. We have, if people are displaying very abusive in their words and their actions, we got to learn how to let it go and move forward and stop fooling with that person. We not continue to sleep with them. That is not what we should be doing. point blank, period. And like I said, I know I said with the wife, you know, we can't tell her what to do. We can only speak from our perspective, but you do have to love yourself. If you are a Christian, listen, if you are experiencing issues with your marriage like we all do, then you know it is definitely okay to go get help. But always remember, God does not want you to be abused. He doesn't want any of that for you. So if you are abused, please, 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 if you can, in any way, shape, form, or way possible, you know, try to get out, try to get some help. I do the best I can to find resources and post them on here, because this goes deeper than entertainment, because there are women that are saying he's mentally abusive and physically abusive and possibly abusing his wife, and none of that is good and never a good situation to stay in. So with all that being said, I love y'all. Thank y'all for watching my video. I hope y'all learned something from it, because there was always so much to take from this video. And I know I said my little ending remarks. Oh, and one thing I do want to say, don't ever feel like that you have to compete with any women for anything. And fellas, y'all don't feel like y'all have to compete for any man for anything, because if a person really love you, they would never make you feel like you got to compete with anybody. And we gonna end that on a period. So God bless y'all. I love y'all. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.